Okay, so hi everyone. I'm sorry to talk to you in this extremely hot room, but I can assure you that I have actually seen food and beverages out there. So it's not fake, it's real. You're going to get it. You just have to listen to a few more interesting talks. And I hope to be one of them. Eleanor Roosevelt said to every day do something that scares you. And to develop my intuition, I actually started taking up the Wing Chun Kung Fu, which is the style of Bruce Lee that Kelly was talking about. And I'm not sure if that did it, but I'm one of those long lunching, laughing lawyers. And I have many colleagues who are as well. So to some of you, I'm sure that law and legal matters are not combinable with laughing and having a good time, but to many of us it actually is. So I'm Modin. I'm a lawyer with the law firm of Gärde Wesslau here in Stockholm. I was previously with the same agency as we heard from previously, the Vinnova, the Swedish Governmental Agency for Innovation Systems, where I was heading the agency's work for contractual work and intellectual property. So I specialize in contract law and intellectual property, which I suspect to at least some of you is sort of a red sheet. To some of you, I'm sure that intellectual property is a typical bad thing. I'm not going to contest that initially, so we'll just talk about it afterwards. I shall talk about some legal aspects to innovation, and I shall start by saying something about the definition of innovation. What's innovation and what is research? And I think that a very good definition is that R&D, research and development, you take money and you take competence, and mixing those things you hope to achieve new knowledge. And the difference is that innovation, you take that new knowledge and you add additional competence and you hope to make money. So when it comes to research and development, you spend, and if for innovation, if it's good, you hope to gain money. So we want innovation, and we start with an idea. So what's the idea? Well, we have an idea. We hope that you will achieve a lot of ideas over the hackathon, and we hope that it will lead to business. So in 1625, the English poet of named John Donne wrote that no man is an island entire to itself. Each is a piece of a continent, a part of the main, and that is still true. We are not isolated. We need to collaborate and we need to make things together. And I should like to suggest to you that on that continent of the entrepreneur, it would be wise to have a good lawyer with you. To some people, lawyers are, this is in my experience, especially entrepreneurs and researchers. I work with a lot of researchers. The lawyers are referred to as the note people. Not knowledgeable people, but the note people, the saying note people. And that leads to a lot of research going on, trying to work under the radar of the lawyers, leading to skunk work, basically, which in some instances can be pretty good. But it would be better to actually have lawyers being enablers, trying to assist in the business of innovation. So if you're a researcher in the field of life science or medtech, many, perhaps not you, but many think that, okay, I have an idea, I want a patent. I want a patent, I want to get rich. Rich and famous because I have a patent. So let's say a few words about patents and intellectual property. You know that intellectual property are the means of exclusivity. They are rights to exclude others from using your idea. It's not a protection of the idea as such, but a protection of the commercialization of that idea. So you have probably been taught, I hope, that patents protect technical inventions. And that is true, but it's just a part of the truth. Because actually, patents protect business models. If you have patents and no business model, what do you have? You have a cost. And that's basically all you have. So you have your patent will give you the right to keep others from doing your thing, but what if your thing is really bad? Or if your thing is great, but there's no commercial value to it? What if there's no business and you have a patent? So patent is like putting up a fence, and for a limited period of time, you are the only one being able to use commercially what's inside of that fence. But what if what I keep inside that fence isn't of interest to anyone? I know that if you have a bit too much spare time, you can look at at what old patents look like. And there is actually a granted patent for a diaper for parrots. It's not a commercial success, I must tell you, but there is a granted patent. There is another patent which is no longer valid, which is actually very interesting. It's a machine to assist at childbirth. And it uses centrifugal force, where you put the mother-to-be in the middle, and it actually spins around really, really quickly to assist the baby coming out. It hasn't been used, obviously, but it meets all the criteria for being awarded a patent. So the person actually applying for that patent achieved a cost. So I don't want to be misleading. Patents are great if you have the right invention and you apply for a patent at the right time. Then patents can be great. Without it, we would probably not have the medical developments, for example, that we see today. So patents are important, but are not to be confused with fame and fortune as such. So I was going to say a few words about open innovation, but I think it's too warm. So I'll just skip that. And anyone wanting to talk open innovation to me can find me later on. I will also be on the jury. So you will meet me on Sunday as well. So I will just pose to you the question, what are the challenges, the legal challenges of innovation? Well, what do we do actually? Well, we can advise by understanding regulatory matters, collaboration setups, IP strategies, intellectual property strategies. Sometimes you want a patent, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you need to license out ideas or license in. Or sometimes it's a matter of technical know-how. And perhaps there is none of that. And then that may be a strategy as well. Openness can be a strategy. And it works very well up to a certain point. But if you want industry to be interested, it's only up to that point. Then you need to have those strategies, even if the strategy as such is to keep it open. But I think that the most important role of the lawyer in innovation business is to manage expectations. And to manage expectations on the part of all the people needed to make this happen, to join in the collaboration. And we use the words contracts and agreements. And those words may be a bit misleading to some people, because it's not a matter of necessarily a written document signed by all participants. That's not the only way to make agreements or to have contracts. I think most of you have actually entered into agreements today. I dare to say so because you have most probably bought something in a shop. You have managed to get here to Kista one way or another. Some by cab, some by subway. So you have all entered into some kind of agreements today already. And what we lawyers can do when we talk about setting up collaborations is to manage expectations on the part of all participants. Because if you have, it's my experience that if you have a litigation situation, it's very rarely the case that people are actually being bad. There are very few bad people wanting to do bad things. I would say that in 99% of the cases, it's a matter of not having understood each other properly. So it's actually two people being absolutely certain that they are right. And from their point of view, they are actually often right. So if you do your business well from the beginning by managing expectations, spitting out the word, putting it out on the table, stating what is this collaboration about? What happens with the result in this collaboration? Are we all in agreement that the result that comes out of this really great project is free? Fine. But what if you're not in agreement but you haven't talked about it? So that's usually what happens if you end up having legal problems. So lawyers assist when ideas develop. You have ideas, you develop them into innovations, and hopefully you develop them further into good business. And I was actually told by a client just actually today that the only thing more expensive than a good lawyer is a bad lawyer. Ola started out today by saying that entrepreneurs need to laugh in the constant presence of uncertainty. And I think that's very true. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I think that's very true. You need to be persistent, and you need to laugh at uncertainty as such. But I hope that me and my colleagues try to help out by making your business a little less uncertain. Thank you.